Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do your November the 27th, just for today, in a meditation. Hope you're doing well this morning. My family is a bit under the weather, so we are coping, put it like that, coping. It's been a long night with 6 sick boys. Okay, November 27th, seeking God's help. At times during our recovery, the decision to ask for God's help is our greatest source of strength and courage. That comes from the basic text, page 26. When we take the third step, we decide to allow a loving higher power to guide us and care for us in our daily lives. We make the decision to allow this guidance and care into our lives. Some of us believe that once we've made the third step decision, God leads us. From that point on, it's just a matter of paying attention to where we are led. The third step decision is an act of faith. And asking for God's help is a way of renewing that act of faith. Putting faith to work in our daily lives gives us all the courage and strength we need because we know we have the help of a loving higher power. We trust that our needs will be met. We can tap into that faith and trust just by asking. Just for today, I will remind myself that I'm not alone by asking my higher power for help each step of the way. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today. Please and thank you. Seeking God's help. I think I'm one of the people that believe, as it says here in the first paragraph, that once I've made the decision, God leads me from that point on, and that it is a matter of me paying attention to where I'm being led. I think a lot of the dis-ease, right, the uncomfortability of living life on its own terms is resolved for me, or it is at least decreased to a great degree because of this third step. But I have to say that if I don't have the ability to pay attention to where I'm being led, I feel that I do struggle. If there's just too much static, right? Too much noise going on between my ears, and I'm overstimulated, right? I'm not really able to focus in or tune in to where I'm being led. The 11th step helps me with that. But I want to make sure you understand that it's not just, step 3, great, and now I'm in my step 11. It takes practice for me to do step 11 naturally. It takes practice for me to be able to have a lifestyle of prayer and meditation, asking for the knowledge of God's will for me and the power and strength to carry that out. That takes practice. And one of the reasons why it takes practice for me is because all of the other stuff between the third step and the 11th step, all of that stuff that's in there, all of that liabilities and assets that I find in the fourth step, my ability to take someone into my confidence and have a discussion with them about where I'm at and the exact nature of my wrongs, right? My ability to identify that I have character defects and be entirely ready for those to be removed from me, but also humble enough to ask God to remove my shortcomings, right? There's sometimes a long, they put 6 and 7 together, but sometimes there's a long distance between me actually being entirely ready, which means that they've kicked my tail quite a bit, or I'm just wiser now. I don't need those character defects like that, but they do cause me to fall short, to act out. And sometimes there can be a long distance of time between 6 and 7. And depending on how much time is between those two, really will determine how deeply I suffer or how long I continue to suffer with shame and guilt and remorse. Because in those two, I find the ability to change my behavior, which changes the trajectory of my relationships with people, right? That's why after that, I'm able to go into making a list of people that I owe an amends to. Well, what if I never make that list? What if I just assume they need to get over it and I never make that list? It makes my prayer and meditation a little bit different. It makes it a little less likely to take place on a regular basis unless it's just crying out foxhole prayers or for help to get me out of messes, because I haven't gone all the way. I haven't gotten to 8 and made that list and made direct amends in step 9 whenever possible, wherever possible, except for, of course, when it might harm someone to do it, someone else. I haven't cleaned up any. I've cleaned up my behavior, but I haven't cleaned it completely up because I've not taken responsibility for my past behaviors, right? I hurt a lot of people, and a lot of people need to know that I am aware that I did some harm to you. And I'm really sorry for that. And I may never be able to make restitution for that, but I am able to let you know that today, that behavior is far less likely to happen again because I am paying attention. I am very much aware. And I'm very sorry. And I am working on a living amends, right? So in step 9, I get to do that. But not only that, if a part of that step 9 is that now I'm waking up and going to bed every day, looking at the things that didn't go quite the way they were supposed to go, that I might actually be owing someone a phone call and being willing to do it promptly, right? Not just sit on it. Then when I come into that prayer and meditation mode, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. Like the static that's been created from an unspiritual lifestyle is removed. And so, yeah, I'm now able to actually pay attention to where I'm being led, asking God for his help. And it's an act of faith, but I can do it over and over and over. And I can do it once and believe that it's done, but then there should be the fruit of that awareness, right? So this is a very beautiful meditation. That's just for me, right? Going through those steps between step 3 all the way up to 11, because I believe 3 and 11 are very closely related. But all that stuff in between is what makes step 11 much sweeter, right? And then I get the lovely opportunity to give it back to society, to other people that suffered just like me. And it becomes a pleasure, right? Because I've had a spiritual awakening now, that my journey of pain and active addiction and recovery from that is no longer just about me, but I'm really in a healthy position to turn around and reach back for the still suffering addict, right? The still suffering individual, and be there for them. And I can practice these spiritual principles in all my affairs. There's not an affair that spiritual principles would not apply to. And they told me if that's the case, then I need to change my affairs, right? Because they apply to all of my affairs. And if I think that they don't, then there's an issue. Right. So I hope you've enjoyed this meditation today. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week, a beautiful day. And you know what? It's very important that we do it on purpose. It's very important we go into doing it on purpose. And I'm going to have a beautiful day on purpose, and you will too. Talk to you tomorrow.